Before we start, let me clarify that the only reason we're not revealing our faces is because my kids are also part of this series, and I intend to keep them as removed from any of this as possible. That may seem hypocritical, as I've shown my real face in projects I've done in the past, but considering everyone in the series is known by a cartoon mascot, I prefer to keep it that way for everyone else's sake. Second, we may be vague when we refer to certain incidents rather than graphic detail, since again, I'm aware my kids watch this channel and they've informed me that other friends their age do the same. That doesn't mean you're not allowed to say mean things about us because I have kids, just simply that I prefer to have the more mature details discussed out of their presence. Not that there's much more to explain beyond what will already be said. So here we are. I never expected I'd be writing or recording something like this, given how upfront I am about, well, what a jerk I am. But time makes fools of us all. Sorry if I sound flippant. I have a habit of making jokes when I speak, even when I'm being serious. It comes from being obsessed with comedy all my life, but that's neither here nor there. You've probably heard some accusations against myself and Jasmine at this point. If you haven't, you're about to, unless you really don't care to keep listening. That's up to you. I'm writing this now to say that they're true. Some of them, at least. Frankly, I don't know all the accusations being made, and I don't have time to look into all of them beyond the most severe. I'm aware this may also sound flippant. That's not the case. In fact, Jasmine and I have both been giving this a lot of prayer and asking many people's opinions on how to approach this in order to be sure we're handling this with maturity. I'm even writing this down rather than just saying all of this off the cuff in hopes that I can list everything that's relevant. If I've overlooked something, it's either because I've forgotten it, it wasn't brought to my attention, or it just didn't happen. So let's start right at the beginning. I am not a very politically correct person. Anyone who has watched our show or read my comics knows that. I make no apologies for it. I don't go out of my way to offend, but my comedy can come across as abrasive. I've used terms and expressions among friends that I wouldn't in public because, to me, the humor comes from that same, haha, it's funny because you shouldn't do that place that something like cartoon slapstick comes from. It's insincere, and I find the comedic use of offensive language among friends funny, but that's a minor complaint that I've heard. A larger complaint is that I've said horrible things about people I love behind their backs. I have, and I'm not proud of it. It's true that I have a problem with anger and depression, and when I let both of those win over me, then I get hysterical and say the worst things I can think of about my loved ones to others. Things I don't mean and things that I deeply regret afterward. I'm working very hard at overcoming this, and it's not easy. I've said some of these things about my own wife not very long ago, and I've admitted this to her. She's forgiven me for these things, and we've moved on. I've also been accused of things like being an abusive parent, and I have been in the past, verbally so. I also, regrettably, have had a few online affairs in my previous marriage. These are not things I'm proud of, but if people are going to bring them up, then I won't hide from the fact of it either. I've dealt with the shame, the guilt, and the remorse for all of these actions, and so have my children. They've forgiven me as well. I believe if you listen to any episodes that feature myself, my kids, and Jasmine together, you can hear for yourself that we love each other dearly. At this point, my kids have even made a joke about me being abusive because it's so far from the truth now. One last thing, and the only one I can think of unless there are other such accusations, is that I'm a con artist who has tried to steal money from people. I've been through a lot of bad situations and have made a lot of bad decisions that I've regretted. I can't say that I've ever lied about my financial status, but I've certainly made stupid decisions that have hurt me financially and have had to beg for help. I'm not proud of that. I've openly mentioned many times that I hate feeling like a parasite asking friends and family for money so many times, but nonetheless, I have done so. My own friends and family have forgiven me for these things as well, and even told me they don't find it burdensome. At least most of them have. There was a falling out recently with an old group of friends. I won't go into all the details because they don't deserve to be harassed for this. It's a convoluted story, and I'm sure you've gotten tired of hearing me confess a million things already. But I essentially did something stupid that upset them, and the resulting back and forth of apologies and arguments became a last straw for me. I wish things could have gone better, but they didn't. These friends had helped me many times in the past with money, and because of a joke I made at my own expense about how stupid I felt leaving behind friends that had helped me so often, they now believe that I was only their friend for the sake of money. This was not the case. I cared deeply about them, and still do. I regret the anger I've had towards them and angry things I've said about them and other people from my wife's past that they've gotten into contact with. I've let the stress of losing both my job and my friends and the drama that came from it push me to some intense rage. If you guys are listening, I'm sorry. You probably won't accept that, and I'm sorry for that as well. I can only convey so much through words. Nonetheless, I am sorry for what I've said, for what I've done to upset you, and I forgive you for your own actions. I'm tired of being angry and upset. I like playing a grouchy character for my show, but that's not a state I can maintain in real life. Even if I get irritable and complain or say nasty things when I lose my temper, that's just a bad side of myself I'm trying to gain more control of, but it does not define me, nor does it make up the majority of my character.
Okay, now it's my turn. Hi everyone, this is Jasmine. Matt's written and said his piece, now I'll try my best to say my own. I don't know how well this will come across, because, frankly, my memories from this time of my life are fairly hazy, but I'll try my best. Among many of the same accusations being made towards Matt, I've also been accused of being romantically involved online with an underage person while in my early 20s. I truly do not remember how old this person was. I recall being told by this person that they were 18, but to be completely honest, I don't remember the exact age. Whatever the age of the person, I behaved in an obsessive and unacceptable manner and was even told later on by this person and their friends that I had ruined their lives, was irreversibly damaged, and similar statements. I've lived with the guilt and regret of this period of my life for a decade now. That is not the person I am anymore, nor do I ever want to be it again. I've realized my actions were wrong, and I have no desire to ever go back there. I'm also being accused of looking for illicit content featuring very young children. I have never, and would never search for that sort of thing. I accidentally stumbled upon something like that once in my life, and was so horrified that I still deal with the trauma from it. I have confessed all of these things, not just to God, but to my friends and my family, and have been forgiven for them. I can't keep living in a dark past just because it's how others remember me. That version of me no longer exists.
So that's everything said. We both hope we've covered everything relevant, and again, we're sorry for any pain we've caused. These are things we've both been accused of and things we've confessed to our friends, our families, to God, and now to you. I have no desire to remain a prisoner to a past life. Those of you out there can decide if you still want to be our friends or followers after this, and I wish you good luck with whichever decision you make. The series was never intended to be more than something fun we share with our friends and our kids, and to share with anyone who cares to have a laugh from listening in. So it's not as though we have anything to lose. I apologize for the long and possibly, in your opinion, useless and embarrassing video, but I'd much rather get this out in the open if there's any question about it rather than have friends and followers of the series be bullied in private for being associated with us. If you have any further issues, you can direct your complaints to us, but there's no need to harass anyone else or our kids. And if you don't have any further issues, then I thank you for your time, understanding, and forgiveness. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Unless, of course, you choose not to forgive, which is entirely within your right. We still wish the best for you. If any of this sounded like an excuse or insincere, I apologize once more. That was not the intention. There was a lot to unpack here, and I may have been more focused on recalling every incident than expressing a real desire for growth or evidence thereof. But we do want to grow and be the best people we can be, as I should hope anyone would.
Again, we sincerely apologize for any pain that we've caused, and we ultimately just want people to find peace, heal, and hopefully move on to lead happier lives.